What's up guys, MullyReaver here with another Raid Shadow Legends video, and today we are going to be looking at Spider Hard 10 teams. Before we get started with that, a couple of things I just want to note. First off, apologies for the shirt, bad choice of attire, so I'm just going to be a floating head on this one. It is what it is. Second off, we've just hit 1,000 subscribers on the channel, thanks in part to my good friend MTG Jedi. We did a collab, and the Jedi Academy came in strong, not only getting us to 1,000 subs, but getting us well over, I think we're approaching 1,100 subs at this point. From that, actually, one of the comments on one of the videos that I have on my Fire Knight video is the fact that somebody was looking for Spider Hard 10 teams after the fix. There were a lot of videos put out where everybody was using the bug that originally happened where the spiderlings were doing double damage to the main spider. This person couldn't find enough videos on teams that they could use after that fix. So that's what we're going to do. I actually have 3 teams we're going to go over with a couple of variations you can do within them. All of which now work perfectly fine, under 30-second farms. So that's what we're going to take a look at. So let's go to the first team now. Okay, so here is the first team we are going with. It is going to be 2 Royal Guards, Lydia, a Painkeeper, and a Renegade. Now, first off, there are many variations you can do on this team. Namely being the Royal Guards can be replaced with any enemy max HP AoE hitters, so Husks, Acrisia, anything like that. Lydia can be replaced with any AoE decreased defense champ. Particularly Ghostborn would be the better option here, because his is irresistible. Also because Lydia puts up a weaken. Actually means we start doing too much damage to the spiderlings, but we'll talk about that once we're going over the run. And then between Painkeeper and Renegade, this is actually kind of interesting. Renegade, of course, has the 2-turn cooldown on her reset. Painkeeper has a single turn cooldown on her reset. So between the two of them, we are fully resetting the main skills of the champions we are using. So they are in combination, as well as taking space enough so that spiderlings start to reset and things like that. So they are being used just to enable the rest of the team. As far as actual gear sets, we're not going to look at the actual gear that they're wearing. It's not really that important. The main things here are going to be the speeds that everybody is at, as well as just kind of their role, whether they need accuracy or whether they need damage. As far as the actual gear sets, how you get to that point it doesn't really matter. So if we look at the presets themselves, so first off, both of our Royal Guards are going to open with their takedowns. That's they're going to do them twice because they are going to need to reset once. So we've got both of those set as number 1s. The main spider is 245 speed. So in order to go before the spider, obviously we need to be higher than 245. So our first Royal Guard's 246, second Royal Guard's 247. They are both crit capped with plenty of damage on them. They are actually both in Savage gear. Again, not really important. What you want to watch on this is the damage that they do to the spiderlings, because we're not really nuking the main spider. We are going to nuke the spiderlings, and by killing the spiderlings, they are going to in turn damage the main spider, which is going to do the majority of the damage. So as long as a single one of the Royal Guards, or whatever your damage dealer is, as long as they do over half of the spiderlings' HP, then that is plenty enough damage, because you got 2 of them. As long as they're over half, they're going to kill them, and that's going to get the job done. Lydia is going to be doing her decreased defense and weaken. She also has an increased speed here, which we're going to explain a little bit on the Painkeeper and Renegade. But really all she wants is the decreased defense and weaken. This is going to enable our nukers to kill the spiderlings. And again, if we used a Ghostborn in here, Ghostborn does not use the weaken, which means it's a little more consistent because we actually tend to overkill the spiderlings a little bit too much. So she is at 260 speed. She's the fastest one on the team with enough accuracy to land. We do need about 350 accuracy in order to land on the main spider, as well as all the spiderlings and things like that. Our first Painkeeper here, so these are the speeds that become fairly important. So our Painkeeper here is slower than the rest of our team, as well as faster than the main spider. So the main spider is 245, she's 244. However, we are getting the increased speed from Lydia here. So with that, she ends up being faster. So she's going to take a turn right before the main spider goes, which is pretty important. And then we've got Renegade down here, who is just doing a reset, and she is slower than the main spider, even with the increased speed. So that you have to balance. I found 210 is right about where she needs to be with increased speed to still be lower than the main spider. Other than that, the rest of her stats don't matter. Same thing with Painkeeper. This is actually my Painkeeper for my Iron Twins team. It's just my faster one. None of it matters except for the fact that we want them to stay alive once we get hit the first time. So that is the team. I'll show you once here what we're talking about slow, and then we'll watch it again a little faster. So as we go in here, so Lydia's going to put up the decreased defense and weaken. Now we still are waiting for the last two to spawn. We've got one nuke, so you can see we killed a spiderling on the first nuke. That's actually kind of bad for us. And then we drop the rest of them here. Painkeeper goes. So this is one of the key points on this team. Or actually with any of these teams where you're letting the main spider take a turn. If we look at this skill, so this is, if it targets, this is the spider's A2. So if a target's turn meter is fully depleted, they place a sleep that cannot be resisted. Basically what that means is whoever goes last on the team is going to get slept. 100%. Doesn't matter. So when tuning the team, that's why we have Painkeeper going faster than the main spider, but slower than the rest of the team. So she takes a turn, the spider goes, and then she gets slept. Somebody's going to get slept. You need it to be somebody that is not our main 3 damage dealers. So we're actually tuning for that. So now that we continue, so now we get a reset from Renegade. That allows 2 more spiderlings to drop bomb. More decreased defense and weaken. Nuke. Nuke. Game, set, and match. Get rid of that. Now we'll watch it one more time in full speed. So again, we got Lydia with decreased defense and weaken. Nuke. Nuke. Painkeeper goes. Painkeeper gets slept. Renegade's going to reset the rest of us. Lydia decreased defense and weaken. Nuke. Nuke. And that's all she wrote. So again, to be a little more consistent with not killing the spiderlings early, Ghostborn is actually a little bit better than Lydia here. And then you can balance the damage that your Royal Guards are doing so that you're not overkilling them on the very first hit. All right, so here is team number 2. You can see we've got Akimtum in the lead. He does have the All Battle Speed Aura, which is going to help us out. We've got Coldheart, Renegade, and Double Taurus. You can see one of my Taurus is not fully maxed. However, I would actually recommend it just for the added stability of, them not dying. You can get the extra gear on them, make sure that they don't die. Mine, this is just for purposes of the video, so I haven't actually maxed him out. However, he does fit the need. If you are going to run this consistently, max him out. Let's look at the presets here. So first off, we actually have Coldheart going first. Don't worry about the 291 speed. She just has to be the fastest on the team. And all she's going to do is open with her Heartseeker. Akimtum is going next. We've got him at 267 speed, 350 accuracy, which is going to allow him to land the debuffs, namely being the Hex here on his A2. Then we have our 2 Tauruses going. Now our faster of the Taurus is going to open with his A3. That is the AoE poisons. And then the second Taurus is actually going to delay that by 1 turn. Now the weaken, or sorry, the A2 actually does place a weaken on a single target. It's going to place that on the main spider, which actually can be helpful. So if you can get this booked, it'll probably get you a little more consistent and not necessarily required, however, could help. But they're going to delay, or they're going to open with the A2 and then wait for the second turn before they do their A3. And then Renegade is going to go right before the main spider and just going to do the reset. Because she's going last right before the main spider, that means she is also going to be the one that gets slept whenever the spider takes her turn. So let's watch it go. And you can see we are going to open Coldheart with the Heartseeker. Hex from Akamtum, AoE poisons, little weaken, then our reset, and again Renegade is the one that's going to get slept. And Coldheart is going to take another turn. Akamtum's going to redo the Hex. Second turn from the Taurus, and then more poisons, and then that is it. Easy peasy. Let it go through one more time. So we've got our Heartseeker, we've got Hex, we got poisons coming out, weaken, reset. Again, you want to make sure that you're building your champs in order to survive that hit, because it can be pretty hard. And if they die, obviously that would make a fail for the run. Then AoE poisons, and 28 seconds this time. So pretty sweet team. I like it. I think this is one of my favorites of the ones we're going over today. However, it's not actually the one I use, so let's go take a look at that team. All right, so here is team number 3, and this is going to be the faster one. There are a lot of variations on this team that vary anywhere between 9 seconds to 15 to 20 seconds per clear. You can see we have Ignatius here with an irresistible HP burn. We've got our fast Coldheart. We've got Sissia and Tio with their HP burn activations. And then we've got our DPS of Acrisia. Acrisia can, of course, be replaced with any other max HP DPS. She is just a little more sturdy or a little more stable because she's a 2-hitter for her A2 skill versus a single hit on like Royal Guard, something like that. But she can absolutely be replaced. Just because she's standing there doesn't mean she's required. The Sissia here actually you want accuracy on. We'll show you here in the build. Mainly because her decreased defense and weaken on her A2 is what's going to enable Acrisia to do her job. So we've got Ignatius here, 261. He is not the fastest one. Coldheart's going to be a little faster. But he is just going to do his A3, which is the HP burn. Coldheart's going to open with her Heartseeker. She's the faster one. The 291 speed's not required. We, again, just need to be faster than the main spider. Tio is going to go next. He's just going to do the chemistry, which is the HP burn activation as well as extension. Sissia is going to A2. This is also the HP burn activation as well as placing the decreased defense and weaken for Acrisia to go and just nuke everybody else. So that is basically what's going to happen. So we've got open with Coldheart. We've got our HP burns. Activation with decreased defense and weaken. And then Acrisia just cleans them up. We'll watch that one more time. So Coldheart, she's just doing damage. You can actually do the same thing with a Calvalax and use him as a lead. With Calvalax as a lead actually allows you to build everybody a little bit slower because he has a 19% speed aura. And then the poisons on his passive actually help kill the boss a little bit faster. Not faster time-wise from here, but as what, instead of like using Cold Heart, because Cold Heart has a enemy max HP hit, the poisons kind of do the same thing. So these are one of the fastest teams out there, 9 seconds being the current record. This one does it, I think it's about 10.5 seconds depending on the rounding. So sometimes it's 10 seconds, sometimes it's 11, but it is incredibly consistent. Again, we can replace Crisia with Royal Guard. We can actually do that to show you. Same Royal Guard we were using in the other comps. He's around here somewhere. And he does the same thing. Once it loads. So Cold Heart opens. We got our HP burns, activations, decrease defense and weaken, and a slam. So 1 second slower, but he still gets the job done. So those are the teams. Let me know what you guys think. Is this helpful for you? Are you guys running any of these teams? Do you have any different teams? There's a lot of different variations you can run on Spider. Probably of the hard dungeons, this is actually one of the more easy of them. Granted, it's still difficult considering you have to run everybody at over 245 speed, give or take. But let me know what you guys think. Hit that like and subscribe button, all that fun YouTube-y stuff. And we will catch you guys in the next video. Later.